the body holds the soul down. I mean, we talked about this when we did our reincarnation episode, right? The soul's natural desire and state isn't to stay in the body anyway.
Right. So sleep. So at sleep, exactly. The soul is allowed, for the most part, although it leaves. The Zohar in the Aramaic words are kista de chayuta, which means a piece of life of the soul remains in the body. That's the difference between death and sleep. Is that in sleep, a part of the soul remains in the body that calls back the soul in the morning. Right.
I wanted to bring that up later, but we're here now. It's a small percentage of the soul.
Yes.
Could you equate how much that?
Well, you said before that the Zohar and the sages speak of sleep as a taste of death, or 1/60th of
or whisper
death.
of death, right? Yeah, exactly.
So it represents, again, depending. It's a little bit more detailed than this, but the most basic or lowest part of our soul is what remains in the body. Mm-hmm. So this is where we begin our understanding. Why do we need to sleep? Because our soul needs a reprieve. That if we lived without sleep, which means we lived uninterrupted in this illusionary / reality of the physical world, we would lose complete touch with our source, with our essence, and therefore the necessity for sleep is first and foremost a spiritual necessity. Once you accept that, it also gives us, I think, and we know consciousness is so important, excitement towards the possibility of what happens when we sleep, which then brings us to the Zohar making it clear that one should enter into sleep consciously. There's one verse that the Zohar uses as a foundational meditation for entering into spiritual sleep. The verse is Beyadcha afkid ruchi. It's really just 3 words, which means in your hands I rest, or I put my soul. Because when we go to sleep and the soul exits the body, there are many forces that it can get lost in. And that's why often a person can be in bed for 6 hours, for 8 hours, and wake up not rested. There are physical reasons for that as well. But spiritually, if the soul does not ascend peacefully, then it does not get the reprieve we spoke of before. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, when a person sleeps and is not really awakening the spiritual purpose of sleep with the consciousness that the Zohar speaks about, that we're speaking about, then he or she can actually wake up more exhausted than when they went to sleep. Mm-hmm. So the meditation is, before we fall asleep, before we're going to sleep, is we consciously ask that our soul be put in, it's called the hands of the Creator. What it means is in that resting place, which is the totality of light. So that it's almost like, now today we have electrical vehicles. When it's run out of energy, you have to connect it back into electricity to recharge the battery. That is what can happen. Does not always happen in sleep, but that's what the Zohar says you have to consciously. And this is a very practical and an important meditation for every single person to have every single night.